It was one of those nights when the snow came down in furious sheets, swallowing the world in white silence. The mountain road twisted and turned, barely visible under the storm's wrath, and 15 rugged bikers, tattoos, leather jackets, and fierce eyes, found themselves trapped in the middle of nowhere. Their engines roared against the howling wind, but one by one, the bikes began to sputter and fail, choking on the frozen air. They were tough men, men who lived by their own rules, but that night, even steel-hearted riders felt the chill of fear creeping into their bones. Just when despair began to sink in, a faint light flickered in the distance, a small wooden house, smoke curling gently from its chimney, as if it were untouched by the chaos raging outside. The bikers exchanged skeptical glances. Who would live out here, in this wilderness? They trudged forward, boots crunching in the snow, and finally knocked on the door. To their surprise, it creaked open to reveal not a fearful recluse, but a frail, gray-haired woman with kind eyes shining through the storm's darkness. Without hesitation, she ushered them in. "Come in, children," she said warmly, as though she had been waiting for them all along. Inside, the warmth of a crackling fire embraced them, the smell of freshly baked bread filled their lungs, and the old lady moved with surprising energy, laying blankets, serving soup, and treating these hardened riders as though they were long-lost sons. The bikers, who were used to suspicion and hostility from strangers, sat in stunned silence. No one had ever treated them like this. As the storm raged outside, laughter and stories soon filled the little cottage. Tattoos and scars faded into the background as the old woman reminded them of something they hadn't felt in years: home. By the time the night ended, the bikers had made a silent promise to themselves: they would never forget her kindness. This chapter can be expanded into 5,000 words by weaving in dialogue, emotional flashbacks of the bikers' lives, descriptions of the storm, the old lady's backstory, and how each biker reacts differently to her warmth. The first rays of sunlight stretched timidly across the frozen land, melting diamonds into the snowdrifts. The storm had passed, leaving behind a silence so pure it felt sacred. The bikers rose, expecting to continue their rough journey, but what they found outside left them speechless. Parked neatly in rows, stretching as far as the eye could see, were not 15, but 100 motorcycles. Chrome gleamed in the morning light, leather jackets shimmered with frost, and one by one, riders stepped forward. News of the old woman's kindness had spread overnight, through calls, through Brotherhood, through bonds unbreakable, and the entire biker community had gathered outside her home, not to frighten, but to honor. The frail woman stepped onto her porch, her shawl wrapped tightly around her shoulders, and gasped at the sight. 100 engines revved in unison, not as a threat, but as a salute. The leader of the first group knelt before her, his voice rough but trembling with emotion. "Ma'am, last night, you didn't just give us shelter. You gave us something we'd forgotten: love without judgment. Respect without fear. From this day forward, your home is protected. No harm will ever come near you. We, all of us, are your family now." The old lady's eyes glistened with tears as she placed her trembling hand on his shoulder. That morning, the world saw an extraordinary image: a tiny house surrounded by 100 powerful bikes, a fragile woman standing stronger than any of them. She hadn't fought battles with fists or weapons, she had conquered hearts with nothing but kindness. The story spread far and wide, inspiring millions who realized that true strength lies not in power, but in compassion. And as the bikers roared away into the distance, they left behind a promise that the woman's name would be remembered in every roadhouse, every highway, every brotherhood, forever.